What is up, guys? It is Dusky coming to you today talking about the various different kinds of sources that you can put on your OBS for streaming to Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, or whatever it is that you stream to. So what I have here is the OBS application pulled up. Down here to the bottom left, you're going to see a box called sources. These are going to be your quote unquote layers for each various scene of your stream. You'll need multiple sources when you're setting your stream up for Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, or whatever it is that you're streaming to. What we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and add our first source in. So we're going to hit this plus button down here. That's going to bring up this huge list of various different sources that you see here. We're going to go over each one of them, what they do, what you can do with them, and what they're normally used for. So first up, you're going to see this audio input capture. What this is your microphone. So I already have my microphone set up as the Yeti. What you're going to do whenever you bring it up for the first time, you're going to see it as a default. You'll go to whatever you use as your microphone. I use that Yeti and add it into the sources. Click OK. And that will add it into those sources there and show this audio mixer over here to the right. And so your mic has been added and it works perfectly fine. Next up, we're going to go over here to this audio output capture. What this is this is going to be your desktop sound. So once you set that audio output capture up, it's going to pop up with this window. You're going to want to use whatever it is that you use to listen to your desktop, whatever you listen to your game through, whatever you listen to your voice through, all that kind of stuff. For me, I use the Astro A20s, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Click OK. And so now my desktop, anything that happens on my desktop comes through my speakers and goes through the stream. So if you're playing a game and you want those game sounds to come through your headphones, this is going to be the option that you're going to use for that, as well as music in the background and voice. So teamwork, any kind of team voice, team chat, anything like that, that's going to also come through this specific source. Next up is going to be your browser source. So this is a pretty big one whenever you're doing stream elements. If you're using stream elements and you have stream elements pulled up, say you want to have this one, what you're going to do is you're going to copy that to the clipboard, come over here, paste it into the URL there. And so once that gets put in there, what you're going to want to do is come down here to this width and height. You're going to want to set this to whatever it is that you're streaming at. For me, it's 1920 by 1080. Once you get that done, you'll click that OK button. Once you get there, you're going to see my little browser source pop up right over here. That's what this is. That's going through the browser. So you're mainly going to want to use this one when you're on that stream elements and using that stream elements. It's a fantastic option for that. It takes a lot of load off of your computer. Another good time that you're going to want to use that is whenever you're using Streamlabs. If you're using Streamlabs and you want to have some sort of custom pop-up for whenever people follow or subscribe or give you biddies, then you're going to want to copy that URL and post it into that specific browser source, as I just did there. Next up is going to be the color source, which is pretty self-explanatory. This basically just brings up a giant box of color. So your color, whatever you want it to be, you can select just about any color that you want out there. Click on that. You can select the width and height of it. Click OK, and then you can change this to whatever you want it to look. You can put it on any part of your stream or anything like that. Pretty self-explanatory. After that is going to be the display capture. This is another very important one. Once you click on that display capture, it's going to bring up however many displays that you have. If you have 5 displays, it's going to bring up all 5, and it's going to let you choose which display it is that you want for OBS to capture and stream to your audience. Now keep in mind, this does stream the entire display. So not just a window, this is the entire display. So it shows your start bar down here, any pop-ups that you get, shows your background, everything like that. And it also tends to kind of stress your CPU and GPU a little bit more because it's a lot more information that's having to be put through OBS. There are other options to capture window or game. We'll go over that one just here in just a little bit. Next up, we'll go to game capture. What this is gonna capture any full screen application. This is what I normally would say go with. If you capture specific window, it's gonna pop up with something else and ask you what window you want to capture. You can have whatever the gameplay is, it'll show up on here. Couple of different options down here that I haven't had to mess with or anything like that. I always suggest going with game capture over full window because it takes a little bit less stress on the CPU, on the GPU to run the game capture than it does the window cap. And so you'll primarily use that whenever you're playing a full screen game or doing something full screen here that you want to capture. Next up is going to be image. This is fairly self-explanatory. You come here, create new, you can go to a file, pick a random image, and once you select that, you'll be able to move this around and edit it however you need to as an image. And just so you're aware, you can add JPEGs, PNGs, just about any type of image type that you can come up with, you can add it to OBS. Next up, we'll move to image slideshow, which is very similar to that previous image slot. We'll go ahead and create a new one. You have a couple different options here. Always play when visible, stop when not visible, pause when not visible. If you stop it when it's not visible, it's gonna bring down the usage of your CPU a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And so that every little bit helps when you're wanting to do that. So we're wanting to use that normally. You have your automatic or manual. You can control it by a hotkey or it just automatically plays. The transition type, you have that as well, whichever one you want. Time between slides, this is in milliseconds. Transition speed also in milliseconds there. If you want it to loop or not, I usually always have it on loop. If you don't have it in loop, then it will hide once the slideshow is done. And then you can randomize the playback, so randomize which pictures are shown there. Bounding size aspect ratio, you can choose whichever aspect ratio you'd like to have in there. 16:9 obviously is the 1080p version of that you'll want to use normally. Image files, you go in, add a file. We'll go ahead and add in a couple there. And so now you can see that this is playing in the background there with the slideshow going. You can use as many pictures as you want to with this. So it's a great way to showcase if you're sponsored, if you have a sponsor for the stream or something like that, and you want to showcase that, it's a great way to do that. Just kind of continuously rolling through those sponsors that you have on your screen. It's also a great way to show your social media. So if you have a Twitter, an Instagram, Discord, any of those that you want to showcase, by the way, mine are down in the description, be sure to check them out. Then you can, go through those various different images that you've made for those various social medias. Moving on to media source. This one's another good one. This you can add just about any video that you want to, and this is adding from a local file. So we'll go on in and add this Discord alert here. Click it on loop and it will play here. As it plays, it's going to continue to loop on in the background there. Again, this is a fantastic way to showcase your sponsors, to showcase your various different social medias that you have. That's exactly how I do it. I have it constantly running, constantly going, showing Twitter, Discord, YouTube, all those fun things during my actual Twitch stream. Another thing with that, if you want to show any other kind of video, you can add it through that source there, and that will actually pop up on the screen so you can actually show the video if it's a local video. Next up is going to be the scene option. This one you can actually go in and add any existing scenes that you have. So if I wanted to add another window capture in, I could do that very easily. And then as you can see, I have one scene on top of the other scene. Now keep in mind, this is two different scenes running at the exact same time. So it can be a little strenuous on the GPU, on the CPU, whatever you're using to encode. Moving right along, you have your text option here. This is very, very straightforward. It has your font, whatever font you'd like to have on there, with millions of fonts on there. You have the text that you actually want to read, test. You have your various different text transform. You can make it uppercase, lowercase, starting with the case. You can make it a vertical text. You can change the color of it, change the opacity of it, the background color if you want to add anything like that, add a gradient, background opacity, alignment, which way you want it aligned, vertical alignment, and all of these various different things that you can add. It's very similar to like Microsoft Word or something like that. But if you want to add that in, you can do that. I find this very helpful if I want to let people know what the commands are on my stream. If I want them to, use various different commands, I'll have that text down there at the very bottom, because that still text is not very, very tough on your CPU or GPU. VLC video source is going to be the next one. This one's very, very similar to that one that we previously went through, except this one is you can actually continually kind of play through it. It's very similar to the slideshow as well as the video source. So if I wanted to come in and add all of these different alerts that I have, I could come in and do that just like this. It also has the loop playlist, which is usually what you want there. Shuffle playlist, sure, why not? Network caching, not 100% sure what exactly that one does. Audio track, subtitle track are not needed for this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hit that. So you'll see that that comes up. And so what that one's actually going to do is that one's going to continually go through and change, what the pop-up is. It's going to say Twitter this time, Discord the next time, YouTube the next time, and it's all on one source, which is very, very nice, very, very easy to use. Again, a great way to showcase all the various social medias out there. You can showcase that with this specific source. Next up is a very, very important one, video capture device. That is going to be your camera. So that is going to be any kind of a camera that you have. We'll go ahead and create a new one here. So we'll say Logitech C16 there. So we'll go ahead and add this new one in here. Wow, that is, yeah. That looks great. Don't it look really orange and stuff? It looks fantastic. So you can change anything that you want to about this. You can change your resolution to 720 if you want it to be that. Color space, color range, everything along those lines. That is how you add a webcam. One thing that you are going to want to note is configure video. This one's very important so it doesn't look terrible, similar to how mine does. If you want to add your webcam, that's how you do it with this one. You add that video source. Also, another very important thing that whenever it comes to video capture device, this is how you set up your Elgato. So if you have a capture card, this is how you set that capture card up. So you come here to the Game Capture HD 60. That's going to bring up your capture card or whatever that your name of your capture card is. From there, it's either going to show your gameplay or, in my case, my camera. And again, you can come through and you can change all these various different things here to be whatever it is that you need it to be. Last but not least is going to be the window capture. That one's pretty self-explanatory as well. This will allow you to capture any window that you currently have up on your computer. This is another option that you have for capturing games if you don't want to use the full display capture, which again uses a little bit more CPU, a little bit more GPU. So you can use this in place of that. Or if you want to show a certain window, if you want to show a browser, a certain video that you have on your browser, if you want to show that to your stream, then this is a great option for that as well. A couple of miscellaneous items here. You can move things up and down on this source list. If you put something under another source, it is going to show behind that one. So now you can see that my camera is now behind the display capture there. Once I bring it back up, there I am again. So keep that in mind whenever you're going through these and you're setting them up where you need them, because there's sometimes that you can end up with quite a ton of sources. To remove a source, come in, hit the minus button there, and then hit yes, and that will remove the source from the source list here, but not from OBS. To remove something completely from OBS, what you need to do is you need to go in and you need to actually remove every single instance of that source on every single scene. If you want to ever look at the options of the source again, you come here, right click, click properties, and it's going to bring up the options for that source. The same exact options that you saw whenever you first added the source on. Well guys, that is about all I know whenever it comes to sources and OBS. Keep in mind that this does work in Streamlabs OBS as well as normal OBS and OBS.live. It works very similarly in these different platforms. It may look a little bit different, but it performs the exact same. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. I would definitely appreciate that. If you haven't already, be sure to go take a look around the channel. Tell me what you think. If you like what you see, be sure to hit that subscribe button for me. I definitely greatly appreciate that. Be sure to take a look below and check out the socials. Be sure to join the Discord, follow Twitter, follow Twitch to see when I go live. I go live a couple times a week. Playing Apex a lot now, I'm terrible, but getting better. If you have any questions regarding OBS, be sure to ask them down in the comments. If you don't feel like asking them down in the comments, DM me on Discord, join my Discord server and ask me there, ask anybody there. I'm always happy to answer any questions that y'all have. As always, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching. I will catch y'all later.